Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second game, or the fifth game of the broadcast today. My name's F. Joined here by Brandon.
Yeah, just Brandon.
Yeah, just Brandon.
We're going to be getting in with our second game of our cast. Fifth game overall today, where Team Coast and Team SK, a matchup we've seen plenty of times, is going to happen once again. And we're going to start off with a Geb ban, which is curious to me, and I don't understand why they would do that.
What is a Geb ban? For the team with first pick, that is curious. You want to get Geb. That said, if you're not comfortable playing the Geb, maybe that's why you want to ban it out. Team Coast, Princess Tomato exists?
Yeah, I would say that's about it. He has not had a good run in the SPL, has not had a good run today. And in their final game of the day, Team Coast going into this 0-2 in a lot of trouble. If they lose this one, all hope is pretty much lost.
Yeah, we discussed it before. There's a lot of things that can happen to allow them to continue. But
Tom?
It's pretty much...
Serket available.
Serket is available.
Serket made it
Coast.
through.
And Rom's going to be moused over for the first pick because... yeah, Rom's going to be selected for Team Coast, so Shaggy Tank really wants to play that Rom. I think there are better choices here, but Team Coast's strongest player is their Hunter, so taking care of him might be beneficial.
True, but Shaggy Shank also plays literally every god in the role, and well, they didn't need that lock. They've given up Zhangque Nemesis. Not too curious, but it's strange to me that Serket once again might make it through picks and bans, because for all I know, I have not seen Zindern play Serket all that much.
Right.
She is largely considered to be the best jungler right now, in the hands of the right player. In my opinion, most notably, despite the fact that we don't see him anymore, DJ Pernicus.
Yes.
If we give Serket to DJ Pernicus, it's basically a win.
Yeah.
The team could draft into, like, Super Smash Brothers 64 characters, and he would still win. And that's including, like, their very small range and very awkward moves. Like, TJ Pernicus, I've seen many times by himself with Serket before she was buffed win games.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Pernicus has a different playstyle, which sort of puts a solo lane mentality into the jungle almost. He only ganks when he really, really needs to. And one of the things that DJ does is he ganks from the front.
Yeah.
So he just alleviates pressure, which a lot of junglers don't really think about. We tend to see just the assassin-style oriented jungler.
I'm behind you, haha.
Exactly. Which is what we should not see from Nemesis. I like the idea of Nemesis alleviating pressure, and I wonder if Zeros will take that into his own game. I've seen it a couple of times come out, not exactly defining his playstyle like DJ we were talking about, but definitely something we see. I like to play with Nemesis, and I want to see that coming out of SK.
So let's talk about the draft here. Nemesis, Zhangque, and Vamana were going to be the first phase for SK. Left side, Ymir and Ra get locked in. We went back into the banning phase. Serket does get taken off the table, as well as Apollo, a character that maybe did not need to be taken away. Going back over towards the left side now, option was given back to Fenrir and Odin, whereas SK drafts into Anhur. Now, Anhur is, my opinion, the strongest traditional hunter right now. Non-traditional hunter, I would say Freya. But, you know, a lot of people are starting to veer away from the carry role, that like, kind of ADC hunter role. I've seen a lot of Hunbots. I've seen a lot of Loki, who I think is very, very strong. But don't pick Loki into Freya.
I think that has more to do. I think that has more to do with the level of talent. Being able to hit in-hand attacks is difficult, and that's why we see a lack of.
I was kind of talking about Barracuda. Going towards those assassins, looking for extra clear. People are trying to find new ways to deal with the meta.
Playing the Loki.
Zatman brought. I think Zatman really brought the assassin meta there. I mean, you could argue that maybe Chunks had something to do with their Ares, Aphrodite.
Stop.
All right.
Aphrodite, no. But one thing I want to point out before we move on is the Reels choice of Anhur. They banned out Apollo. I think Reels was going to choose Anhur into this comp anyway.
I agree.
Reels is one of the premier Anhur players. Anhur is one of the premier Reels choices. It's just the obvious pick, and as we go into this game and check out how the dual lane actually winds up, I think this is the one that SK planned on from the get-go.
Yeah, Anhur, again, is definitely one of the strongest. He had the best win ratio of all hunters in the SPL, and that was before Rama and Apollo got nerfed, which they did. Rama got hit pretty hard in the ultimate. Doesn't do as much damage. Apollo got hit pretty hard in the fact that he's not nearly as tanky, doesn't have quite as much CC potential, but still a very good character. He gets banned out. We're going to see Anhur brought back to the fields here, and SK does have Chaos side.
Yeah, and one thing to note is that Apollo is a utility hunter in the sense that he hunts down those objectives, he looks for the towers, because he has that get-out-of-jail-free card with his ultimate, and then he rotates into the fight. Anhur is a character that wants to fight.
Right.
All the time. And Reels most of the time provides triage for his team, rotating to the fight before thinking about the structure, because with him, they'll win the fight and get the main structure that they're surrounding the fight around. So because of that difference in playstyle, Anhur is sort of the first choice for him over Apollo, so that's why I find that ban a little curious.
So topside, my favorite ward in the whole game comes out. The ward that drops down and can watch the speed rotate into blue to make sure there's no invasions. You know exactly when they get their buffs, tells you a ton of information. Great job. Left side, they're going to know right here that they are not going to three-man, SK is going to three-man the mid camps, but I think they know they're on a ward as well. Just going to do the blue buff here, and it looks like they're going to do it without Hand of the Gods. Consider Shaggy Shank and Tomato going for first blood here.
Yeah, I mean, this is two teams coming out that have played against each other, SPL and stuff like that. Thing I want to notate is, do you see the middle lane?
Yeah, I mean, Captain Twig's taking a lot of damage to Carino's Odin. This is not what we expected. In fact, we didn't really talk about this too much.
Not at all.
We thought it was going to be a solo lane, and it is very much not.
We have the Odin mid, which is something that...
It's strong.
It's happened before. We've seen it in sort of the weekly, the Path to Launch tournament. We saw a certain team pick that up and play it. And I guess we could talk a little bit about that as we take a break. We could talk a little bit about the power of the Warrior in the mid lane.
See, with Warriors, I understand it. I'm on board. With Odin, he has incredible push. If he doesn't get out of this lane 3-0, I'll be very, very surprised. But the issue is, once that 15-minute mark hits, they're going to start feeling this.
It's about the utility, in my opinion, Brandon. You have Odin with that large burst damage. Captain Twig famously plays Chalk in the middle lane to fantastic and great success. And Odin's a sort of similar idea, but it's different. When you see this Odin pick in the middle lane, you want to think more Gnaw, not MLC stealth.
Right.
He's going to do damage early, which Gnaw doesn't do, but he's going to be utilitarian as the game goes on. That ring is one of the better objective secure items in the game, and with it, he won't be searching for the damage that he'll be depending on Variety and Shaggy's Hank for. He's going to isolate the team, isolate the objectives, and be able to nail them.
See, that I was also looking at Maniac. I mean, if he gets caught in that ring, he will not heal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that ultimate will be negated. He'll still gain protection, still gain damage, but he will not have that relevant heal. Now, mid lane has taken some damage here. Maybe not to the fact that their HP bars are lower, but the fact that they just lost that experience pool in the red buff. And now look at this. The extra push from the Bird Bomb has given him enough time to rotate to top and take his second camp away from the left side. Jungle, Carino, and Princess Tomato split that beautiful, but the counterplay was there. Zero takes it from the bottom side. I'm right.
That's also another thing that I failed to mention about the Odin is that the clear in the middle of the lane is one thing, but Bird Bomb will delete Harpies.
Yeah.
Bird Bomb will erase mid-Harpies in one shot. And when you're looking at a mid laner, you want rotation ability, so movement. You want ability to clear the wave, but almost most importantly, mid-camp secure. And he's going to do it in one ability, able to share all the camps with experience. I kind of am really starting to like this Odin pick.
You know, if you jump into someone and you're level 6, it's 500 damage.
Yep.
And they're just going to hold that. There's nothing they can do about it. If they're anywhere in range and they don't have a movement ability, they will take that damage. You can't miss lunge. Speaking of which, he missed the lunge and is now in a ton of trouble.
Yeah, that's both of his abilities down as far as defenses go. Bird Bomb is Raven Shield, which is damage reduction, and a jump, which is obviously escape. However, at this early part in the game, only level 4, no slow coming out from the Nemesis, no ultimate coming out from Captain Twig, so Carino gets away with a huge mistake, not going to be able to make it after one more wave.
Tomato comes in, goes for an awkward wall, not really sure why that mana was used at all, didn't really deter, and now that ability is on cooldown, but they split this one out. Left side, they are rotating down to the speed buff. Looks like they're going to split another camp. I don't really love or recommend the 3-man split. Tomato, not sure what he's doing. Not sure what anyone's doing.
They're not going to share.
Yeah, bottom side, Carino takes that one away by himself. Left side, they're going to 2-man split, which I like, but I'm not really sure why Carino didn't just wait 3 seconds to give him the split experience for the Fenrir. I mean, that would have been a great use of Bumbas.
Yeah, just wanted to get the solo experience and push him further ahead of the mid. I suppose he's already ahead, wants to continue that, especially since he's the Odin. We talk always about him having the Thanatos effect where he falls off, and that's something he wants to avoid by just staying more artificially ahead.
If I was Badger here, I would take these. I would just take them away. Oh, but what in the... Is he crazy?
They saw it happen with Agilitas. It's not going to be. It's not going to
clearly
go as well this time.
Agilitas.
Badger takes a kill with that. Great ultimate. Intoxicate can hit 3. Real's going to take down Carino, and now there's 4 members in SK Red right here in front of the Gold Fury, and there's not a thing anybody can do. Plus, they took 2 members.
That was and I don't like to be that caster, but that was straight up a bad call. They had no chance in any universe of taking that without hand 3, with Badger just hanging out there by himself. Like, Badger went in, used his belly flop, used the ultimate, got everyone down super low. Carino had no mana and half health to begin with, and this is not old Odin. This is not Odin which could withstand the force of 5 gods. This is Odin that will melt like a paper bag in a fireplace. And that's not melting, that's just crumbling. And that's what he did. I mean, 2 kills taken away, Carino 1 of them, and like you talked about, Thanatos effect. He falls off. What happens if you don't get ahead to begin?
Same thing that's going to happen to Captain Twig right here. Stuck in the middle. Does have the ghost going off, but Carino trying to secure a kill. That would help him a lot. Jumps in his Zindern. 3 hits, 4 hits of the Brutalize, and he'll get the kill, but not before 2 shots in the tower and 1 shot from Zeros, who's going to immediately turn that back around. But I think that was the thought process. Kill the mid laner, get him back in line with Carino. You can't afford to have this Odin fall off.
See, to me, right there, I don't think that's worth it for Coast.
Right.
They just traded out kill for kill with a person who had no kills to begin with, meaning he's not worth anymore, and they gave the kill to Nemesis, who scales so insanely well comparatively to a kill to Fenrir, who doesn't. Fenrir is a character that does well until level 13, and then his utility. He does decent damage in the end game, but he's not putting out the numbers that Nemesis is, not by a large margin.
It's percent damage versus raw basic attack have to be in dangerous spot damage, so you usually cancel it anyway damage.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hazardous to their health. Just as this invade on the left-hand side, SK starting to feel themselves a little bit, only leading by about 2,500 gold. 5.5 minutes into this match, they wanted to take a look at the blue buff for it. The dual lane opted instead to play it safe. You know, Brandon, Badger's playing this match rather well.
Yeah, well,
which is I feel like he's playing uncharacteristically well. He's making smart choices, and that's usually where we see Badger's Achilles heel, is in his decision making.
You know, Badger gets a lot of hate. He constantly is putting himself in bad situations with the SPL, but I like the decisions. Oh, bird bomb to the left side. Real's taking damage, but not as much as Tomato. Gets a little bit squashed there. See you later, buddy. Zindern jumping in deep, looking for damage. Shots coming out from Shaggy, but not enough, and they forced a Ragnarok away. He had to Ragnarok based on the fact that card would have slowed him down into death. Yeah,
Ragnarok, not only does it give CC immunity so it sheds the slow, but it also gives him physical. It gives him movement speed, which allows him to get away from the ghosts.
What is this? What is this? What are they doing? Okay, see ya. That was cute.
In the right hand lane.
Little Eskimo kisses.
Yep.
Just giving him some love, I guess, as you know, Baby pushes the lane for free again.
It's Ra versus Mana. As tenured solo laners, I guess you say, look, we both win the lane.
Left side, or rather central, Carino gets. Oh, I did not think that was going to be a kill. God, Odin is just made of like old newspapers.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about. I liked the Odin pick until he fell behind his enemy. Captain Twig is 2 levels his senior, and that just can't happen. If you're going to play this Odin, like I said, it's not a horrible choice, but you have to maintain the pacing.
Left side, Shaggy has taken some serious hurt. Trying to use the creeps. Great use of disperse. Slowed down and picked up. We're going to see Reels with, looks like another kill, bringing him up to 3-0-1 and almost top farm in the game. It's been a good look so far for the boys on SK Gaming, as for the second game in a row we see complete dominance in gold per minute. Everybody on SK is ahead by at least 50 gold of everyone on Team Coast.
And this is the honor we were talking about, DM. We really didn't... The Apollo's a good character, but the Apollo is good, but Reels is just better. And taking a look at the rest of the teams, everybody else is sort of wandering around.
Tomato just soloed the speed buff and took it. Generally speaking, you don't do that. I wonder what their decision make. What is he just running to the solo lane? Does he not know that he's like level 10?
Well, it's a 3-man jump onto Maniac. He's going to take a lot of damage, down to about 50% HP, Brandon. Despite being in that ultimate. Out comes the surrender at 8 minutes.
Okay.
SK Gaming takes the game 6-1, leading by 5 kills, just over 8 minutes, as we said. That's a rather short victory, so SK Gaming get it. They get the credit. only leading by about 3,000 gold. I guess the question here in our post-game report, Brandon, is why did we see this quick decision?
That was just front to back.
I don't think that game was out of hand.
I don't know, man. Once Princess Tomato took that speed buff, that was it for me.
I agree. But what started that? SK Gaming right here won the mental game. We talk all the time about how, it's not always about the numbers, and then people like Cret and Flairboot yell at us, but sometimes it's about the mental agility of these teams. Right here is my thesis as to why sometimes the mental aspect, the momentum, and everything but the stuff on the screen is what matters. That's what happened to Blue Team.
Team Coast had this in the beginning. They were stealing camps. They had the red. They had the top side. And then one play turned everything to hell. And that, of course, is the Gold Fury checking in with Badger here. He sees 4 people. He cares not. As the rotation comes through to the Gold Fury, he says to himself, are they out of their minds? So am I. Let's rock.
Jumps in and just toasts everybody, burning all members in blue. And here you try to see some sort of counter initiation, but Real moves over. We talk about how often he likes to rotate, and then On Her just controls it, and that'll get the kills and the Gold Fury for SK Gaming, and just a very heads-up play coming out from SK Gaming's Badger.
So before we get into our last game, we're going to take a look at our schedule here for the day. You can see the first 5 games have been completed. Our final game of the day is going to be a game that we have seen 7 times.
7 times.
And today will be the 8th. 6 times. I'm sorry, 6 times. My fault. 6 times. Agilitas with their clear victory over the Potato Boys every single week.
Yeah. Every single week, we saw Agilitas and the Potato Boys make it into the finals of the Challenger Cup. 2 very dominant teams, one more dominant than the other. Agilitas with a perfect 700 seed point split.
But Tom was actually saying before, Potato Boys basically did not show up.
Yes.
They did not care. They didn't. They showed up one time and they played their hearts out. The rest of the time they were troll picking and being goofy. This game means a lot to the Potato Boys.
Yeah, I will say, like we saw players play Duck Duck Goose and have a lot of fun with the Challenger Cup. Is when you're in that position, I'm not going to hate it as much as I would if more stakes were on the line.
Sure.
But week 6 they came out to play. Players were moved into their houses. A lot of other logistics happened, and they were able to play, and they showed us a fantastic performance. That's what we're going to see. All the chips are on the board right now. There's another week of competition, but these are the games that matter. So expect to see some exciting stuff coming out from your premier Challenger Cup teams, Agilitas versus Potato Boys, coming up next.